Welcome to this deep dive. Today we're getting into permit-to-work systems, usually called PTW. We've got some really interesting material here from what looks like a professional HSE training workshop, HSE being health, safety, and environment.
Right.
And our mission really is to figure out why these PTW systems are so non-negotiable in workplaces where, things could potentially go sideways.
Yeah, definitely. If you're involved in workplace safety, or even just curious about how companies handle risk in, say, construction or manufacturing, this should be quite insightful.
Exactly. So these materials, they really hammer home a point right at the start, don't they?
They absolutely do. They state pretty clearly that any company involved in activities that pose any risk, safety, health, environment, they must have an integrated management system, and PTW is a core part of that.
And the implication is, if you don't have this.
Well, the material suggests it's a major reason accidents happen. A PTW itself, it's defined as essentially a written document. It's there to make sure hazardous work gets done safely.
Okay, so it details the risks and the controls needed.
Precisely. It lists everything out. It functions as a really vital communication tool between everyone involved.
So it's not just like a bureaucratic hoop to jump through. What's the deeper purpose here?
Several key things, really.
Yeah.
First, it guarantees everyone who needs to know knows what work is happening. Total awareness.
Okay.
Second, it explicitly explains all the dangers to the people actually doing the work and, crucially, lays out the control measures they need to follow.
Got it. Safety steps.
Exactly. Third, it acts as an effective administrative system. The permit itself is the formal go-ahead. And fourth, and this is really important on complex sites, it helps coordinate work, especially if you've got multiple contractors, prevents clashes, one team drilling into a pipe, another team is working on, that kind of thing.
Right, that coordination piece sounds absolutely critical. So responsibility, who actually makes sure this all works? The documents mention management, an issuing authority, and a work execution authority.
Yeah, clear roles are essential. It breaks down like this. Management's job is foundational. They have to identify who needs training to issue permits, make sure the whole system is actually implemented, and then keep an eye on it, monitor it, look for weaknesses, review it periodically.
Okay, so they set it up and oversee it. What about the issuing authority? They're the gatekeepers, essentially.
Pretty much. Their role is strict implementation. They must verify the work area before they issue any permit, check it's safe. And they need to inform all the relevant parties about what work is planned.
Makes sense. And the work execution authority. That sounds like the team on the ground.
That's exactly who it is. Their responsibility is, first and foremost, to do the work according to the permit. No deviations unless approved.
Okay.
They need to confirm all the precautions are actually in place and working, handle shift handovers properly, make sure the next crew knows what's going on, evacuate the area safely when finished, and crucially, if conditions change, maybe unexpected fumes appear or something, they must stop and inform the issuing authority. Then finally, ensure the permit is properly closed out when the job's done.
It's quite a detailed loop.
Yeah.
And the types of work needing permits, it's a broad list. Hot work, obviously, sparks and flames. Working at height, excavation.
Cold work, too, which might be less obvious, but can involve things like high pressure, entry into equipment, vehicles on site, radiography, which is hazardous.
Blasting, demolition, even work that cannot be stopped. They give power lines as an example.
And what that list shows is that it's tailored. Each of those activities has unique inherent risks. The PTW system forces a structured consideration of those specific risks and the right controls, rather than just a generic checklist.
Right, it's not one size fits all. And looking at the elements on a typical permit, there's a lot there. Permit type, number, location, duration, start, and end times.
Very important, the validity period.
Yeah. Identifying equipment, tools, describing the work itself, identifying hazards and precautions.
Gas detection readings are often included, specifying the exact personal protective equipment PPE.
Recording isolation certificate numbers if needed, like locking out machinery.
That linkage is key. It shows how PTW connects to other safety procedures, like lockout to gout. Emergency procedures are on there too, and of course, signatures. Accountability.
And briefly mentioned the copies original for the crew doing the work, one for the issuer, one for the safety department, ensures visibility.
Exactly. Everyone who needs the info has it readily available.
So stepping back, the big takeaway seems to be that these PTW systems, they're far more than just paperwork. They represent a fundamental proactive framework for managing risk.
Absolutely. It's about building safety into the process before work starts in potentially hazardous situations. Clear roles, clear communication, clear controls.
It's a structured, systematic approach.
Precisely. Designed to prevent incidents by forcing that upfront assessment and planning.
Okay, so thinking about all this detail, all these steps, what do you reckon are the biggest hurdles for organizations trying to implement this consistently, like across all their different jobs and sites?
That's a good question. Consistency is definitely tough. Maybe complacency, thinking we've done this job 100 times. Or maybe resource constraints, not having enough trained people to issue permits properly, especially during busy periods. Communication breakdowns between departments.
Yeah, I could see that. And the consequences, if you overlook even, say, a small detail in that permit process, what could realistically happen?
Well, the consequences can range from minor property damage or a near miss right up to serious injury, fatalities, or major environmental incidents. Overlooking one small detail, like forgetting to check for residual gas or using the wrong type of PPE, can unfortunately have catastrophic results in these high-risk environments. It really underlines why the diligence spelled out in these PTW procedures is so critical.